After vibe coding for hundreds of hours and using different vibe coding platforms, I wanted to share with you 5 valuable lessons about vibe coding and application with AI that will save you a lot of time and money. In the video description, you will also find a free resource, which is vibe coding reality check sheet and what you need to consider if you want to get your application into production and share it with other users. So the reason I am sharing these lessons today is because myself, I was overconfident in the code that I was writing with the AI while building my application.
Wait, that shouldn't happen. It's fine, just a minor conflict. I'll just restart the server.
And at some point, I really loved the functionality that I came with. But when I wanted to scale this to the public, so to bring in users to use my app and make it more scalable, this is where I decided to make an audit with the developer. So we were in the call live with the developer. He was checking the application from the front-end perspective. I gave him a user and he was playing around and he just exposed my API keys there. So he got access to my OpenAI API key, and this was definitely a disaster. So I was shocked. I was very confident that I wrote thousands of lines about security, and also Bolt, where I built the application, it brought some security warnings before I launched the application. This is where I was overconfident also that the app was secure. But I was completely wrong. Also, there are these YouTubers who are not necessarily wrongly sharing their knowledge with titles that are saying, I built a full stack functional application in 15 minutes, etc. with vibe coding. This is a good eye catcher as a title to come and see the video and start maybe building or experimenting. But there is much more to it to be able to build and sell an application. So the first lesson. Know your architecture. This is the most important lesson. For example, for myself, when I started building that full stack application, I came with the idea that I wanted something to automate my content without paying for Poppy AI. So for myself, it was a good trade for money for me. Instead of buying Poppy AI maybe for $1,000, I would just pay $50 to Bolt in order to build the application there. And this was a good trade because the functionality was great and fulfilling my goal. But I wasn't thinking from the beginning about how to scale it and how to architect it. This was the mistake. So actually, to architect the app in the right way, you need to think about the 3 main components. What is your front end, what's your back end, and what is your database? Those 3 are very important. For me, the mistake I did was that when I built the application, I had set some settings to define the different API keys in the different LLMs I was using, or also the user's password, etc. And I just put that into some setting in the front end. And this was causing me to communicate directly from the front end to the database without a backend in the middle to handle the execution. When I call the API directly to the front end, this was exposing my API keys. This was my major mistake. And if I got this application public, actually everyone had access to my API keys, which is very dangerous. And it would have cost me a lot of money. And even if I gave users access to put their API keys, it would be a complete disaster then. So building an application and selling it also is not for everyone. This is fine, but you can definitely start vibe coding and get some functionality working. So even though if you don't want to think about the architecture because you don't want to sell this, it's also fine. So you can just go directly giving the goal and giving the instruction in the right way to build the idea that you have and have it working just for you. But don't share it if you do it this way. So the second lesson, AI hallucination is real. So when we are building an application with vibe coding, we need to consider that. So everything that is written is not necessarily right, but the AI is overconfidently saying that it's right and that it's doing the right thing anyway. And it will not ask us for most of the time. We need to test, we need to check the code, we need to debug as well, and have the advice of an expert. So definitely, if you are building production grade application that you want to sell and put in public and get users to use them, the best advice I can give you, just get an audit, get a developer, just spend some $5,000 or whatever, get it audited in the right way so it's secure and also that it's scalable after you are building it. This is something that the AI cannot really tell you in details. You need human experience here, at least with what we have right now, and from my own experience with vibe coding. So in my example again, when I asked it to make the app secure and make it also applicable to the European GDPR, which are the regulations concerning the data privacy, etc., it was doing it and it was saying, yeah, I did that and that and that, and your app is secure. And even when I was deploying the app, it came with some security warnings saying, let's address this before you deploy it, it's very important. And I deployed it once I addressed these security issues it was bringing. But then I still noticed this critical issue I had, that I was exposing my API keys that it didn't even come with a warning for. Okay, the third lesson. Make sure your application is modular from the start, because later on you might have problems that you need to address that might destroy actually your application. Let me explain. So when I was building my application in Bolt, I was just prompting functionalities, and I wasn't really thinking strategically or tactically about what would happen or how the code would look like. And I wasn't really looking into the relationship of the different code lines it was writing. I was just expecting that it was writing the right thing. And later on, I have tried to change some things in the application because they weren't just working right. And at some point, my database exploded. And the problem with vibe coding applications, once your database is destroyed or have a critical error, you cannot even call back and bring your data back. So once you have tested something or once you have saved some data in the database, it will get lost forever if you don't have a backup, which you need to pay for in Supabase, for example. How did I notice I should address this in the future? If I am serious about bringing my app into production, I would have a Supabase Pro account to be able to have a backup for my database in case it's destroyed while I'm vibe coding. Because even if I recall a previous version, which is possible with most vibe coding apps, my database will not be restored. Only if I have a backup, of course. Also, understanding how different elements of your code are coming together to be able to be precise when you want to update something or to add a functionality or to just remove something. You will risk much less to destroy your database or destroy the functionality in a bad way that you need to recall the previous version that is worse maybe than what the app state is. The fourth lesson, start learning from vibe coding. Learn how to learn from these vibe coding apps, to learn everything around application building, scaling an application, how you should plan it, and how the code should be written in a clean way. You can just interact with the vibe coding platform in order to get a lot of information that are invaluable to not only engineer your app in the right way there, but also to understand the concepts of how an app should be engineered and should be brought into production. There is a gold mine of information just in front of your eyes. You have the opportunity to ask about the different architectures that are best for your goal at the beginning. So there is always this plan or chat mode in all the vibe coding application. And this is where you should start first, always when you are vibe coding. So just plan the application, how it should be there directly, and ask about the best architecture for it based on what you need, what is your objective, and also to make it scalable from the beginning. So to make your application respond to your end goal with a clear plan, and always make this reviewed by a developer or get just an advice, not necessarily an audit at the beginning, which will be definitely very helpful and save you a lot of time while you are vibe coding later. And also bring your app to the level or the goal that you want to bring it for with a much more secure way, but also faster, of course, with leaner code as well. The fifth lesson I want to share with you about vibe coding: choose the right platform based on your goal and expertise. What I mean by that, there are so many platforms out there like Lovable, Bolt, or Base44. You can also use those tools integrated into coding IDEs like Claude Code or like Cursor or Windsurf. So there are so many possibilities to do the vibe coding. And based on your goal, but also your expertise, you should choose the right one. So if you are really good with coding already, you are a developer, You can just go with the IDE, VS Code, and get help from these Windsurf or other tools. And you will for sure get a better quality result faster than maybe coders or developers who are not using these tools yet. But if you are still a starter and you don't want to manage the database, you don't want to manage anything by yourself, and you want the functionality just to be simple, just for your simple use, or maybe you want a web application or a website, go for Lovable or Base44. Both have templates of web applications. Some of them even have some integration to the e-commerce platforms. So they are for the people that want something to be working with without caring much about the backend and everything. And even AI services, you don't even need API keys. For example, in Lovable, it has its own AI cloud service that you can just consume and pay for there. So you don't need much setup. But for those who are in the middle, like myself, I use Bolt and I'm very happy with it because I have access to my database. I can go to Supabase backend and define how the resources are managed, how the secrets are managed, etc. And also build some edge functions there who can play the backend actually for me. So they will communicate with the database, bring the API securely to the front end without exposing them to users as what happened to me with my last application. Those were my 5 lessons about vibe coding. I hope they are useful for you. Subscribe to the channel, get into my school community in the description. I'm sharing builds and tricks in the AI space each week, and see you next time.